Hey guys, let's get comfy. Cute. Hey y'all, so welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title, this is going to pretty much be a sit down and talk video. We're gonna sit and we're gonna talk, and we're just gonna deep dive into my testimony. And when I say my testimony, I mean really my walk with God and what was my driving point, really, just to get to the point where I am today. I graduated with Bachelor's of Science in Criminal Justice, and yeah, I played my last game as a Southern Jag, and pretty much it's just like a very surreal experience. So really what my driving point to make this video was, I already knew that I wanted to make a video like this. I've been asked multiple times to kind of get into it, but I guess I just never really found the right time. I guess there is never a right time, but like, I guess I never really found a time that was comfortable for me. I just got invited to the NCAA Career in Sports Forum that is literally in like a week, 2 weeks. We have an opportunity to tell our story and tell our testimony, and so I just feel like, you know, God's time and God's plan for everything. So that really was like my push that I needed to go ahead and make this video. So why not kill two birds in one stone? Hello, NCAA Career in Sports Forum people, and hello, my subscribers. So we're gonna start off with getting recruited. We're gonna take you back to 18-year-old Lonnie with a torn ACL. So if you guys didn't know, I actually tore my ACL twice. I tore my ACL the first time my junior year of high school and went ahead and got the surgery. I was out my entire junior year. Luckily, COVID happened. COVID, although it was a very hard time for a lot of people, it was really a blessing in disguise in my instance. I was able to heal during the dead period of recruiting, because everyone knows junior year is the year that you're really supposed to get somewhere and get recruited and talk to Division I schools. I was really able to like regain my mentality, my confidence, and get to where I wanted to be. I started training, and I trained with my trainer, Jimmy McLean. Coach McLean knows what it is. He was like one of my biggest supporters at that time. God knew exactly what he was doing, allowing us to cross paths. We crossed paths because I played for the Firecrackers. If you're a softball girl, you know exactly where the Firecrackers lie. And a lot of my teammates at the time trained with him too. So I went ahead, got familiar with him, and we were locked in ever since. And I was training with Coach McLean up until, I would say, like my sophomore year of college. So I was training with McLean, and I was only like 4 months out, like 4 months post-op. So I really wasn't supposed to be doing much. You're not really supposed to be going full speed or anything, at least until like 6 months. Like 6 months is probably the earliest to be able to do all of that. I was only like 3-4 months out, and I was doing shuttle runs. So like 5-10 5s, and planted and just heard a pop. And immediately off rip, I already knew what it was, and came back with a complete tear in my ACL and a partially torn meniscus. So that was the summer before going into my senior year of high school. So at this point, you know, we're preparing for the fall, preparing for the rest of the summer, playing like travel ball, the rest of travel ball summer, and the rest of everything else. After that, it was a matter of, am I gonna get the surgery again, or are we going to bet on yourself and play with a torn ACL? I talked to my surgeon, I talked to doctors, It took months. It took months for me to come to this decision, and all while still training. I decided to continue to play on the torn ACL, and yeah, it was just a plan. It was a plan to continue to play on the torn ACL and just hope that I get recruited, I get picked up. I played that entire, the rest of the summer, that entire fall and winter season, and then my last high school season, and the summer after that. A lot of pain, a lot of different things. happened during that time. I would say mentally it was very exhausting, not even to mention the mental things that were going on while in post-op. My mind was everywhere. I was so upset because I couldn't play, I couldn't participate, I couldn't do the thing that I wanted to do. And softball was my world at the time. And so, you know, it was a lot. It was a lot on my mental. And it didn't help that there was a lot of people on the outside that didn't really know what was going on, that had a lot to say about it. I'll never forget, a coach told me that it was like we came back from a really tough weekend. He pretty much went in on all of us, all of the seniors. And it was my turn, and he told me that I was taking reps from girls who would actually get recruited. Crazy thing to say. Crazy thing to say. Yeah, I don't know. It was tough. It was tough. I had to wear a brace. He said that I wouldn't get recruited because I was wearing a brace. Like I was a liability. Just a whole bunch of different things. And now looking back, it's like crazy, but like it was tough. It was tough to hear, especially hear from people or from like someone that is supposed to be guiding you and helping you and picking you up. I know my mom knows how bad it was, like my reaction coming home, like it was bad. I was a wreck for the rest of the day. I remember it was like a Sunday morning practice. Sunday morning travel ball practices are like with the entire organization, and like they're always long, like OD long. Like you get there at like 6 in the morning and you don't get home till like 2, 3. And so it was a long day. Get home, I was a wreck. Eventually, I commit to a school. I committed to Sul Ross State University. Then, pretty much Southern gave me an offer that was like a fire offer. I couldn't pass it up. And I took it. I decommitted. It took a minute. I'm like skimming through this, but like it took a good like 2 months for all of this to happen. I came, took my visit. It was great. Did all of the down south, Baton Rouge, New Orleans activities. This was my first time in the South. Like, I did all of that and I loved it and I committed, and that was the game plan. I was off to Baton Rouge like the next month. Coming in my freshman year, pretty much I knew I was going to have to medical redshirt. It was just a matter of preparing for it, and I guess it was a new environment. Freshman year is a lot in itself. ACL surgery and recovery is a lot in itself, and putting those two combined was an experience that I don't think I could have prepared myself for, truthfully. I played majority of the fall. Then I got my surgery October 22nd. From there, things just, I hit one of my lowest of lows. Like if I thought my first surgery was a low, this was like below, like underwater, below ground. It was really, really bad. I'm all the way across the country, away from home, away from my people. Never been away from my mom like this before. And I'm hurting. I'm trying to go through this. I will never forget sitting on the PT table, trying to bend my knee, like I have a towel like on the end of my foot, trying to bend my knee in, or like flexing my quad to lift up my heel. Tears like just streaming down. Like just the inability to move and function in this vessel is so scary. I've never been through a PT like that, as intense as Division I collegiate athlete PT was, and I was terrified. Just not being able to move in the way that I know my body can was absolutely like beyond me. I went through the entire fall, PT rehab, and it went good. Fall was okay. So we came back for the spring, and I think that's when it really set in that I was not experiencing softball the way that I was meant to. But I was there. Like I was around. I was at every practice. I was at every home game. I was in the dugouts. I was cheering. I was involved in the drills, like raking the field. Like, I was just being as involved as I could. But it was really tough. It was really, really tough to just sit there and watch my team play and know that I'm I'm here for a purpose and I'm not able to do that purpose, like physically unable to do that purpose, to serve my purpose. So that is when it really hit hard. Spring ended and I crashed. Like if I was like barely making it in the spring, like immediately after it was over, just down. One thing about ACL recovery is that the second that you feel like you're on a high and like you're progressing, it's kind of like, no, like, it's like, no, you're not there yet. Like, you're really not there yet. I think that was just the hardest thing for me. I knew that a lot of discipline was gonna need to be had simply because I rushed my recovery the first time. So the second time around, I just really needed to embrace the patience of it all. But at the time, I was just not a patient person. At this time of life, I also was not a believer in God, which is crazy to say, but I did not believe in God. I did not follow God. My mindset was that God was some kind of cushion for people. That it was like, you know, I can sit here and meditate and manifest and da-da-da, and people are sitting there and praying, which is essentially the same thing, but it makes people feel better to think that someone is listening to them rather than doing it themselves. That was my mindset before finding God. It's kind of harsh. It's harsh. And I think that's really where I went wrong with all of it, because I came to realize that it was not my burden to carry. Like, me thinking that it's my responsibility to get myself out of this and do this on my own and blah, 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 really put a lot on my shoulders, and too much for me to carry, to be completely honest. I couldn't carry that by myself, and when I tried to, I folded like really bad. I went home that summer after my freshman spring season and almost didn't go back to school. I, to be completely honest, quite literally didn't even want to be alive. So it was really tough. It was really tough to just go through life, go through my day-to-day. I know some people may think like, you know, like, why would you say that? But like, that was just how I was feeling at the time. I felt like I had a purpose, and I really felt like I just was not hitting my mark all around. And that was tough to accept. My mom heard me out. My mom was by my side, truthfully, like, let me feel everything that I was feeling. I went to go see a sports therapist, and I was able to find a different center that I had never found before. Not even to say that it was God yet. Not even to say it was God yet. I watched this movie called Peaceful Warrior. It is about a gymnast, Dan Millman, who essentially is just like crashing and burning, like burning out, and goes through this crazy injury and is taken along this journey in like rediscovering himself. Rediscovering himself, that essentially like this injury really opened up the floodgates for a lot of different things. And it like related to my situation almost perfectly. I was recommended to read that or to watch that by my therapist. I also read a book on this. It was The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. I also read The Inner Game of Tennis, and that's when I really started to lock in mentally. But there was still something wrong. There was still something going on. And I'll never forget, I was driving, and I remember pulling over and just feeling so helpless. I had this sudden urge to pray. And I'm not gonna say I had never prayed before, but never intentionally. I didn't know who to pray to, or how exactly was the right way to pray, or what to say, or how to say it. I just had this urge to pray, and I'd never had this urge prior to this. So I stopped, and I just started praying, and I remember crying, like bawling my eyes out, and just being like, God, I don't know how to talk to you. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it, but like, please just see me. Just see me and see where I'm at. Feel my heart. and know what I'm trying to say without me having to say it, because I don't know how. That was probably my first ever true God moment that I had. Yeah. Like, God was there. I will never forget that moment, because then after that, my life completely changed. So then, fast forward, I ended up hosting a camp that summer, just getting back involved, getting back in the mix. As believers, it is almost automatic that we are faced with the most adversity when we truly surrender to our God. And I think that my sophomore year was a test of my faith. Like, simply. Going into my sophomore season, I faced a lot. I wasn't in the best space still. I was still recovering from where my mental was in the year prior. But I knew that this was gonna be my first season back, so it was more of like a revenge tour type mindset. It wasn't really like, oh, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do my job. No, it was like, I'm gonna go in and I'm going to make everyone feel it. My heart already wasn't in a great place. Fall was okay. Fall always has its ups and downs. Going into the spring, in the beginning of the season, I hit one of the biggest slumps in my life. I never really got the opportunity. I'm not gonna say I didn't get the opportunity. I don't really remember, to be completely honest. My opportunities to get out of the slump started to slim down until there was no more opportunities. Right before we hit conference, my head coach tells me, come 45 minutes early to practice. Okay, cool. I go early. She says, we're gonna teach you how to slap. It's funny now. It's funny now. It wasn't funny then, though. So the rest of the season, I went in as being a flex player, meaning I did not hit, I only played the field. That was probably one of the biggest challenges I faced in my collegiate career, truthfully. I was almost hard-headed and stubborn to learning it. I knew that I probably could, but I just wasn't having it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't feel comfortable. B-Will wasn't hearing that. My head coach was not hearing that. It was this or nothing, right? So I had to buy in or not. Went the entire season not hitting, only playing the field. And at that point, season came to an end. We didn't make the tournament. I was like, okay, what do I do? Do I transfer? Do I leave? Do I go somewhere that will let me hit, or do I just stick around and see where this takes me? Throughout this season, I'm trying to get deeper into my faith, but of course it's really hard. In the beginning, not understanding how the trials and tribulations come. There's a lot of doubt, there's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of guilt, and a lot of different emotions that I had yet to overcome because I had yet to know God and know Jesus. Sitting in the car, literally 5 minutes before I had to go in for my exit meeting, and I prayed. Look, I don't know what I need to do. I don't know what decision I should make, but please give me a sign. Give me a sign, give me something. I need something, right? I genuinely felt like I had to leave. So I called my dad. I talked to all of my family, but I called my dad, and I don't really talk to my dad about this kind of stuff. And I said, Dad, this is my situation. What do you think I should do? Do you think I should leave? Blah, blah, blah. And my dad's a real rah-rah type of guy, but this was probably one of the most calmest answers he had ever given me. And he said, you need to trust your gut and you need to trust God. Whatever your gut and God is telling you, that is where you need to go. I walk into my coach's office, a wave comes over me, and it's like peaceful and graceful. I was very upset going in. And as soon as I sat down, it was almost like immediate, like, whew. I told them that I was staying. I got this like extreme like gratefulness. I'm just so grateful that you guys are investing in me. Like, you guys know that I can take over this task that is like seems impossible, and you guys are betting on me to do it. And I'm grateful. That wasn't me talking, that was God talking in that meeting, because I don't know where that came from. That summer was the closest to God that I had ever gotten. I truly found God. I truly got to know God. And I got to understand forgiveness. I got to understand his mercy, his grace, the love that he had. Like that summer, I really took my time and got to know God. I was giving lessons over the summer, so I got to connect with people. And I just truly feel like God gave me this vessel. And at that time, I was really using it to connect and talk to different people. And I really feel like God was working through me that entire summer. And I was able to really find him in everything. My best friend, Yasmin, from back home, she really helped me in my walk with God. I go to church with her whenever I go back home. She's just really pushed me to be a daughter of the King in the best way possible. And I'm so grateful for that. I think it's really important to have community, especially in the midst of the world being the world. A real God summer. That was a real God summer. Came back my junior year, and it's almost like everything took off from there. I came back, worked so hard on batting left-handed and defensively, really like stamping my position defensively. Everything that I could have dreamed of came true. I became a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, which is a dream that I had since freshman year. I had my starting position. I had NILs, OD like NILs, and I was just able to really just step into my purpose. Like I'm just so proud to be able to represent the work that is put in, you know what I mean? Like I'm not the only person that went through all of this, but my teammates and people from other sports, other athletes in the department, like had to go through similar, if not worse, experiences. And just to be able to represent that, you know, you can start really, really low. A redshirt freshman, her not playing, like in the lowest of lows, depressed, and finding God and literally he picked me up, turned me around, and put my feet on solid ground. Amen. Like real life. And just endless opportunities have came from that. I've been able to walk red carpets and be in films and play ball and represent my team and provide for my team and provide for the people around me, my mom, my family. It's just been a blessing. It's literally from God himself. So essentially, that's my testimony. As an athlete, all we want to do is perform and entertain, and we're just taught that that is our entire world. And finding God, finding my Lord and Savior, I was able to take hold of my identity and put it into him. And in his eyes, I'm forgiven. I'm set free from guilt and from anger and unworthiness, you know what I mean? I'm worthy because I'm from him, and he is worthy of everything. And so, you know, we keep going, we keep pushing, we keep doing what we can. God is great. God is truly forgiving, and his mercy and his grace shines on us every day. And I'm just so extremely grateful, and I hope that this testimony is able to help somebody find themselves and find what they want to walk in, and really motivate you guys to take hold of your identity and put it in God, because God is the only thing that is worthwhile. So yeah, I love you guys. God is good, and I'll see y'all in the next video.